Today I want to talk to you a little bit about mark making. Often art teachers refer to mark making, but you may not know what it means, and we're going to take some time to really explore what it is, its purpose, and the different kinds of techniques that we can explore. It's a term that just means to make marks, literally. You may think that marking is just for kids, but it's really a very useful activity for all drawing students and artists. I use various mark making techniques all the time in my drawings. And it's also it's a great way to also build confidence with media or art materials that we may not be familiar with. So I really encourage you to enjoy the process of making as many marks as you can with your pens and your pencils. And once you experiment, there are so many variations of mark making, and we're going to talk about the set 6 to really start with. But really, once you start using different materials, the sky's the limit. Okay, so first of all, I just want to talk to you a little bit about how I use mark making in my own sketchbook. I do a lot of observation drawing to practice new materials, new art media. I had just gotten these art pens. They're very colorful. And I was practicing on how I wanted to layer colors. So I have this cute little Shriner mug, and I was practicing with hatching and line to create a sense of tone and dimensionality in my drawings. And here I have this glass bowl. So I was using mark making and also color, but the mark making of the hatching lines were really important to convey direction. And when you convey direction through mark making, you can also sort of distort what the viewer sees, and you can create a sense of dimensionality just through direction. Let's see what else I have here. Now, blending is another, like I just talked about hatching and line. Blending is another mark making technique, and I think blending is probably something that everyone understands. We've all tried it. Blending just creates a sense of tone. If you think about blending, it's really about softening those marks, but there's still a sense of mark making that's happening. There's still that idea of light to dark. And you're manifesting a sense of dimensionality within that tonality. So here you can see with this sketch of dancers, I'm using hatching, and then I'm also using some cross hatching and some scribbling as well. And here you can see that I am using so much cross hatching that it's making the shape of the hair very dark and dense. And that's how mark making can really convey tone, is the closer the marks are to each other, the darker the area can become. But here we have line, and if you see, the closer the line is, with the next line, the darker and the denser it becomes. And that's true for all marks. Here we have stippling, which is just lots of tiny dots. Let's see if I can bring this up a little closer so you can see. There you go. And here we have hatching. Now, the difference between line and hatching is a line tends to be a little bit more of a graphic quality. It's going to be one direction only. And it's probably going to be one line, lift up, one line, lift up, one line. Whereas with hatching, as long as you're going in the same direction, you can lift the pen up many times. So it also creates a sense of texture as well. Here we have cross-hatching, and basically cross-hatching is like hashtags. Okay, lots of hashtags. We all know what a hashtag looks like. Pattern is anything that is repeated. So right here I have a bunch of circles that have been repeated over and over and over again. And here on the very bottom I have blending, which I could probably continue working with, but here is blending in a black pen. It's going to be a lot easier with a softer material like pencil. So here we have a drawing that I've done. It's an observation portrait. I was looking at myself in the mirror and I sort of distorted my lips by pulling on them. But here you can see that I'm using color, and you're more than welcome to use color, but I'm exploring blending up here. There's some blending here as well. There's a lot of stippling that's going on. And you can see from a distance that stippling almost loses those dots and it just turns into a flat tone almost. And then we have hatching, and we have cross hatching occurring with the various colors. So I think I have everything here except maybe pattern displayed, and I'll probably put pattern in later on to really give it a good all 6 mark making techniques example. So I hope looking at some of my sketchbook examples and seeing this format will help you as you explore the various mark making techniques possible. Okay guys, I just want to talk to you really quickly about how to make these different marks. And we're going to start with line here. Okay, so when we're drawing our line, the closer the line is to the next line, the denser and the darker the area becomes. And the further the line is, the lighter. Okay, so that's going to be line. Now with stippling is going to be these dots. Dots, 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 okay? And the more dots you do, let's see, there we go. The more dots you do in an area, the darker the area gets, okay? Just like the example here, okay? And that's stippling. Stippling, okay. Now, with hatching goes in one direction of line, but it can be, the pen can be lifted up, right? So we're making short lines as opposed to these long lines, okay? So hatching, remember, hatching has a very textural feel to it. You can think about, you know, if you were drawing a picture of your cat or your dog, you were probably using hatching to convey fur. Now with cross-hatching is going to be a lot like those hashtags, okay? So here we've got cross-hatching. Now, when I'm doing a lot at a time, I tend to, you know, get really loose with it and I go back and forth. It almost has kind of this weird star pattern, but that's because I'm trying to really get an area very, very dense. And everyone really has their own way of doing these cross-hatching, and you'll find a good rhythm the more you do it as well. Now again, pattern can be anything. It can be a bunch of letters. So maybe we do like a bunch of A's together like this. Or we're doing a bunch of circles together, just like that. Okay, so that's going to be pattern. And then, of course, we have blending. And blending is really tricky with pens. You have to be really careful with it. I would suggest maybe using a ballpoint pen. But if we were looking at blending with a pencil, I think we all understand that blending is one continuous tone from dark to light. And you can always soften blending by working with your eraser in a circular motion and softening any marks that you probably have made. And you can just kind of go back and forth with blending to get the smooth, continuous tone that you're hoping to achieve. Okay, I hope this little demo helped you. Okay, have fun.